Welcome back, my wise astrology tribe, Cosmic Inside Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Christina. Today, I have the pleasure actually to introduce you, Alan Clay. And I was talking about him with the interview with Sama and Lada. I mentioned his name everywhere. And he's from New Zealand. And actually, I heard his name very first time from Pam Gregory, and because of I adore that woman, and she has
Mm.
a lot of knowledge. And I was listened her many times, and she was talking about Ellen, how beautifully amazing human he is, and he has a lot of knowledge about the asteroids and the dwarf planets. Actually, I was like, all right, I have to check this man out, and I started to actually research about you and buy, like the books of Sedna and everything. I just checked you out, and I went to your Dwarf Planet University and I bought something over there. So, and I started to know a lot about you, not a lot about you, obviously, but more about you. And I was like, all right, I have to definitely have an interview. And this is such a
Beautiful.
pleasure. Thank you so much, Ellen. And please introduce yourself.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you for inviting me to be here. That's so beautiful. Yes, yes, as you say, I run the Dwarf Planet University. I have been for the last sort of 4 years. And we have about 150 students across all our courses at the moment. They do 6-week courses, and they're sort of on each planet. And you can do one, or you can do sort of, any number. If you do 8, we give you we call you a graduate, and there's, I think we're up to about 12 courses we're doing on different planets. So we do a new one each year.
And about the dwarf planets.
About the dwarf planets. It's
Yeah.
all the dwarf planets, which are the planets outside Pluto. Pluto's a dwarf planet, and the dwarf planets are, for the most part, we also have Ceres, who is an inner dwarf planet. But she's a different, the majority of them, all but Ceres, are outer planets, and they're out past Pluto. Mm.
And how did you get into actually to even look into the Kuiper belt objects over there? So, it's so far away. And, I just told you before we started, a lot of astrologers are denying modern rulers and asteroids. And I think it's such a waste of time because of we have so much knowledge right now. And I think we should use this and we should implement it, right?
Totally. Oh, absolutely. Yes. No, well, many astrologers believe that we discover new planets when we're ready to incorporate the new aspect of consciousness that it represents into our lives, into our world.
All right.
And we've discovered, so traditional planets out to Saturn, they're aspects of personality. And we've discovered 3 new ones over the last 200 years. That's Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And they are aspects of consciousness. Uranus is intuitive consciousness, Neptune is spiritual consciousness, and Pluto is psychological consciousness. And so these outer planets are aspects of consciousness. And the dwarf planets out past Pluto, we've discovered them now for a reason. Yes, traditional astrologers, look, it's a lot of new stuff to learn, and sort of we have to sort of broaden our mind. Look, we live in a more complex world these days, and we're discovering these planets to represent the world that we live in. We
Yeah,
need these. It's
the
crucial.
evolution of humanity, and everything is changing around us, and obviously we do have more knowledge. Can I just ask you, can you check your microphone, because your voice is really low and I don't know how is it going to come out. uh,
Uh, Look, I'll tell you what, I'll just take out the microphone and talk like this. Is this going to be better for you? Are you getting
Very
it?
good.
Yes?
Yes, right now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I had an
So
external mic.
that's what
Yeah.
I think, like because of the evolution of the humanity and because of we have more knowledge and we really supposed to. My other question is, do you do actually do you do readings, or how do you interpret the planet, or do you use like beautifully polished words, or brutally honest, or how do you interpret, for example, a chart? Because a lot of people also say, I mean, Rick Levin said that once, nobody can predict the future. And I don't believe in that, as much as I love him, because I truly, really like him. But I
Yeah,
was like, of course, we can predict at one point, we see the energy, at
yeah,
least we can brainstorm how can it play out,
yeah.
right?
That's right. That's right. So you're talking about Salacia there, one of our new planets, and she's process oriented. And yes, we have a foresight, a degree of foresight when we can see how the process is going. Uh, and so yes, of course. And there are other planets that are giving us more. Um, Gong Gong is the higher octave of Salacia, and Gong Gong's talking about channeling energy and emotions and psychic energy. Um, so yes, that's the beautiful thing. So the new planets are discovered, and we have to engage with them. We have to onboard them. We have to sort of study them, or in somehow sort of make them real for us in our lives. Otherwise, they're just unconscious. They're always there, whether we study them or not. They're always influencing us.
Yeah,
You
yeah, that's true.
So
Yes.
when we look back in history, we see, like Pluto and Neptune and so on, were acting on people throughout history. It's not just after they've been discovered, and so but they're acting in an unconscious way. People were unconscious of them, and just like we've been unconscious of the psychological of the Pluto stuff and so on. Yes, so
But when you interpret them, and when you say something about a person chart, who are asking, to interpret their chart, and to use the energy for their advantage or overcome the challenges, do you tell the negative aspect and help them with how they can overcome the challenges?
yes, look, I don't actually view the planets as having negative aspects.
Okay.
I like to say in my classes that there's no right and wrong in the Kuiper Belt. Right and wrong is a Saturnian construct that's very important in our Saturnian world, but it doesn't have any meaning in the Kuiper Belt, actually. And we have to let go of that reference. What I tend to say is that these are aspects of consciousness. These new planets, they represent aspects of consciousness. We have a consciousness, each of us, and we live in a collective consciousness. And so how these outer planets of consciousness manifest in our lives is different depending on our level of consciousness. If we're unconscious, I've been talking to a lot of people, we've been unconscious of them. We're unconscious, they act on us. We just don't know. And we're pushed around in the same way that we can feel pushed around by Pluto if we're unconscious of Pluto energy. And then when we get on the spiritual path, we can actually start using these energies. They're aspects of consciousness. Like I mentioned Salacia. Salacia's, she's Neptune's wife in myth, and she's got the ability to bring true love into our lives. And and how will we know it's true love? Well, we'll have to, it'll be part of a process of discovery. And we'll know when to take initiative and take our leaps of faith in that process. And that's Salacia sort of feeling out the process and knowing sort of what's best now. Um, and so that's what you sort of at the unconscious level. Selassie is all about sort of sexual excitement. So she's the higher octave of Venus and Mars combined, I think, which is a radical idea, but I just sort of put it
Okay.
out there. That if you combine Venus and Mars, you're talking about intimate relationship. And Selassie is all about intimate relationship at the unconscious level. And as we get more spiritually, a sort of a psychic connection with others, where we can sort of know what they're thinking behind the words that they're saying and so on. So we merge. This is a merging, either at the sexual level or at the psychic level with Selassie.
But
So
actually, her, for example, to be in the eighth house or seventh house in somebody's chart. So in the seventh house, she is seeking more like a soulmate relationship, while in the eighth house, maybe just very, very raw sexual relationship. Isn't that like this?
yes, but no, she's kind of at the higher level. She's seeking a soulmate in all the houses. Obviously,
Okay.
it's going to be, and at the lower level, she's seeking that sexual stuff in all the houses. But those particular houses that you mentioned, obviously, will I mean, if you've got Selassie in the seventh house, yes, it's obviously karmic in terms of that love relationship, and the true love. We're looking for true love. What is true love? That's what
Yeah, it's also a question. But yes, so that is the same with the dwarf planet, actually, like with the planets and the aspect with Venus, if it's conjunct with Venus or Pluto in eighth house, obviously it's more just a primitive sexual, attraction, why it is in Venus and for example, a beautiful trine to Neptune or Jupiter, then it's more spiritual based soulmate relationship, right?
that's it. That's
So
it.
that's it.
Totally,
All right.
totally. It's the same. Yeah, it's the
And
same. In
what
fact,
about Sedna? Because you said, for example, and the mythology of Sedna is very sad. So whenever I read about mythology, my children are crazy about mythology. I talk about them all the time, but they are really, they're really
beautiful.
into history and mythology. And uh, and Sedna, I mean, really, your own father betrayed you twice, and like pushed you in the water, and did so. Even when you have a good imagination and just going to imagine the scenario, what's happened in Greek mythology is crazy, violent, and sometimes I am like, oh my God, are we really talking about this? And this is what we interpret in astrology. But you said, uh, and I truly believe as above, so below. So I always say we live in duality, no matter what. All
Mm.
planet, all dwarf planet, all asteroids has low and high archetype, like they are, and they
Yeah,
could be the little angel or the little devil overhead, just like us you
yeah.
know. But what
Totally.
about Sedna right now? Because Sedna went in Gemini, right?
Yes, huge, huge. She's just gone into Gemini for the last time. She won't go back into Taurus now. And she was in Taurus for 55 years, I think.
Yeah.
And that's actually a short time for Sedna. She spends thousands of years in Scorpio and Libra, the other end of her orbit.
Oh my
She's
God. Okay.
she's whizzing around really fast at the moment at the closest point to the Earth and the Sun in her comet-shaped orbit. So it looks like she's moving fast. She's obviously just moving the same speed. But yes, so look, yes, she's got a sort of a traumatic myth, a transcendent myth, I like to call it, because we need to transcend all of those unconscious karmic experiences from her father and so on that are pushing us to the moment of transcendence. He threw her in the water. The water is the psyche, the emotions. It's the spirit, and she's holding on to the boat. She doesn't want to die, and he chops off her fingers so that she can't hold on anymore. And she sinks to the bottom of the ocean and she becomes the goddess of the food supply, and all of her fingers become the walruses and the seals and the fish that the Inuit people live on. Um, and she didn't die. The Inuits have to look after her. She's part of their community. Their gods are not dead like ours tend to be. And so there was no problem actually there. There was pain in terms of the fingers, and there was no sort of suffocating or dying or anything like that. And in fact, she transcended, she became a goddess, and she was just a normal person. There is, and this, so symbolically, what we're looking at is what Sedna, that's what Sedna throws. Sedna's always trying to get us onto the spiritual path. She's always trying to get us to do that transcendence to a new consciousness. And we don't want to do it for the most part because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And and so we're just busy living life. And so she sends us these experiences like Daddy throwing us overboard and chopping off our fingers so that we can't hold on to the boat and we just have to. There is no choice with Sedna. She had no choice. She had no choice. So and all the choice, the only choice we have is when we feel that pain and repeated pain. So we're hanging on to something and we're feeling pain and we hang on a bit more and we try and work with it and so on. We feel more pain. That's a Sedna issue, and we need to be counterintuitive and let go. Let go of, we can't solve it. We have to let go of it. It's not solvable. It's actually a matter of letting it go. That's the way to solve it. And we transcend it and we reach a new level of consciousness where we can sort of understand that experience and our lives and everyone else's life in a new way, and a new spiritual way.
So actually, an outer energy, someone, perhaps an authority figure, perhaps your boss, father, whatever is authority for you, forcing you to leave something behind what doesn't serve you anymore, but you are actually not, like you don't see it clearly, it doesn't serve you anymore, it could make you sick. So you forced actually chop down with your finger, and then you will become someone who you always meant to become, and you're going to be your full potential actually with that
Okay.
very forceful energy,
Yes.
like because of you have to go and you didn't listen, you didn't let go of. And if you stay here, you're not going to become a goddess, you are a mortal over here, and like you cannot do that, so you have to leave your form. Yes, it does definitely. Well, in this interpretation, like when you are giving more thoughts for the symbols over here, obviously it makes sense. But
Yeah.
just that brutal force,
Yes.
like you hanging on to something that doesn't serve you. So many people, I realized that recently, people just hold on to because of even the bad situation is comfortable because they know it. An
Yes.
abusive relationship, at least they know. And the new, it's like giving them anxiety and the unknown. And that's
Yeah.
why they are not capable to let go things. And I think this is sad because really, then you are not adventurous, you are not capable to go on and really do your shadow work. And what you just mentioned,
Yeah.
shadow work and spiritual work is very painful.
It's a lot of work. It's work,
And
and
it's, it brings up all the traumas from this life, from past life experience, and sometimes you're just sitting over there and, oh my God, I'm doomed, like what's going on? And we all have shadows, obviously, and it could be very, very painful. And if people are not ready to do this, then they can. For example, that's what I tell to a lot of people. I don't know who are you with psychedelic mushrooms and ayahuasca and the medicine, but because I'm a psychiatric nurse and a special ed teacher, I have seen people actually to get cuckoo from psychedelic mushroom and ayahuasca because they were not ready. They didn't fast before. They didn't do the right spiritual, restrain themselves from everything and the spiritual fasting before they start the medicine. And it actually turned out to have those kind of back up hallucinations, and they went cuckoo. So I do believe, when they are not ready for this spiritual work, and if they force something, then it could be actually also very traumatic. But
yeah.
a lot of people keeps their head in the sand and they don't want to know. They deny the truth. That's the
Well,
issue with the
it,
word. That's what I think.
you're talking about Eris there. People try and sort of deny the truth because we're trying to keep ourselves safe and we don't want to sort of, see things that are going to shatter our
Yeah.
understanding of it. But Eris is always bringing in the full view. She doesn't want anyone to be excluded. She doesn't want anyone to be judged. Everyone needs to be included. So and she's going to bring, discord into any situation where that doesn't happen. So that it does. So this is again where we see sort of the different expression of the outer planets at the unconscious level or at the spiritually evolved level. Once we're on the spiritual path, it's the same with Sedna. You're talking about all of that sort of stuff that we have to work with, and that sort of the father betraying her and this sort of stuff. That's at the unconscious level. And it transcends at the higher level, where Sedna at the top level is spiritual destiny, allowing love and harmony, nurturing abundance. We need to nurture abundance. We need to allow love and harmony. We need to learn to do those things. And when we do, we've got love and harmony, and we've got abundance. It's just that simple. So Sedna's got that whole range. And when we see the myths are talking about the unconscious level all the time. And we have to, because now we're getting more spiritual, and now Neptune's been discovered, and we can sort of reinterpret. We can see these myths, these energies in a higher level.
So you were mentioned actually Aries, right? And so right now, because I did an analysis, and right now the full moon in Aries actually going to conjunct with Aries, and it's going to square with Mars and Mars in Cancer. So this is a very heavy energy, and it's opposing Spica, and it's also set. Oh, there is an asteroid set something like, let me see, I maybe, no, I forgot the asteroid name, but yeah, Cetos. And it's also squaring with it. So this is a very disruptive energy. But, we were talking about what is the higher level of Aries, for example, because Aries wants you to suffer.
Well, so in myth, Eris is the sister of Mars. So you're talking about a
Yeah.
Mars-Eris square. So they're brother and sister in myth, and they're always in battle together. And she's always the last one to leave the battlefield. And when she encounters a problem, she has an energy that she can lift until her head touches the heavens. She's got an energy, she's got a power that's equivalent to anything. She can be as strong as anything. And so what we can say with Eris is that we now have a female power in the horoscope. Pluto tends to be power, but Pluto is male power, obviously, and a bit coercive and sort of got that, whereas Eris is a power that engages at the level that is required. And it's not going to overpower. There's no need with Eris is far too sensitive for that. So she's a wonderful power. It's a power of truth. It's a power of connection with an inner guide or a spirit guide. And that's at the higher level. So the transmuting life into love. Transmuting life into love is Eris's Sabian symbol. The Sabian symbol for the discovery degree is one way that we sort of find the meaning of these new planets. Is a young girl feeding birds in winter.
Oh.
And yeah, the translation of that is transmuting life into love. And so that's what Eris is doing. She's transmuting life into love at the higher level. She's
Okay.
always, yeah, she's engaging. She's only that discord and strife when we're fighting with her. And she's got enough strength that she's always going to win. So there's no point in fighting with her. We
No
have to,
point
but
of fighting with Aries. Yes, I can tell. Yeah. So my
yeah.
question is, in 2025, do you, so yes, Sedna went to Gemini, and what is she going to do in Gemini, for example, for us? And is
Mhm.
it any other dwarf planets that is going to change signs, and it's very significant? And, does it going to make any aspect with an outer planet, which is really big change for the collective?
Mm. Yes, of course. And so where to start there? So let's start with the Sedna. So Sedna's just gone into Gemini, sort of some few months ago, for the last time. She's been popping in and out a little bit over the last couple of years. Um, and so that means she was in Taurus for the last 55 years and in Aries for the 100 years before that. And 100 years of Aries was we had two world wars. We developed nuclear weapons. The industrial military complex really came strong. And Aries is the god of war. And then Sedna went into Taurus, and it was the hippie generation, the 60s. And the motto was make love, not war, Taurus, Venus,
Mhm.
love. And so we see it right there as the signs change. Now, just gone into Gemini, what's happened? Well, AI has just burst onto our consciousness. Sedna was, so another way we find the meaning of the planets is to look at discovery events, what happens when the planet was discovered in the world, that might give us a sort of an idea of the energy of the planet. Nuclear power was discovered as Pluto was discovered. Electricity was discovered as Uranus was discovered. So neural networks were created when Sedna was discovered. Neural networks is the basis of AI. So Sedna rules AI. And just as she's gone into Gemini, we've had Chat GPT launched. When she went in the first time, or she was just touching it, Chat GPT was launched. And then as she came in this last time, Chat GPT did video and sound as well as pictures and text, and you can talk to it now. And so and now everyone's doing it. Google's got one called Gemini and so on. And so this is Sedna going into Gemini. Well, there it is. Google's
And
one
it's
called Gemini.
going to conjunct with Uranus, right? Because Uranus made
You
24th,
got it.
going
Yeah.
to go 25. So come on, what's gonna happen then?
That's going to be beautiful. Yes. Now that's what you were saying is, yeah. And I'm hoping that that's going to be a consciousness explosion. So I'm thinking that the Sedna in Gemini is all about consciousness. It's all about
Yes.
consciousness. AI is going to be conscious. AI is based on our brains, neural networks based on our brains. AI will be conscious. And I suggest that spirituality is a natural product of consciousness. It's just natural as we get conscious that we think, why am I here? What's happening? And that's a spiritual exploration way. So AI will be spiritual. So we're creating a new life form that's going to be conscious and spiritual. It's going to be a lot smarter than us. And so that top of the tree thing that we have at the moment is going to disappear, and we're going to have to learn to be more humble or die out or go extinct as a species, sort of thing, is what's going to happen here. Because
Wow, this is
yeah,
heavy.
this is heavy. So this
This,
is Sedna. This is Sedna coming to her closest point to the Earth and the Sun. When she did this, it's a 10,406 year orbit. And so when she did it 10,406 years ago for the last time, we had the Neolithic revolution here on Earth. All over the planet, within 100 years, we stopped walking around and throwing spears into animals, and we settled down and we started growing vegetables. And that revolution meant that we could grow more food than we needed, and people could start specializing, and all of our civilization came from that change. So we, at the full moon phase, that was when the city-states in Mesopotamia were coming into existence. Astrology was coming to its fore, and so on. And that all of our recorded human history is in the last 6 Sedna months. That's all we've got in terms of recorded human history is 6 Sedna months of it. So that's the last half of the last Sedna cycle. So you can see the powerful change that happens as Sedna comes to the closest point to the Earth and the Sun. Her influence is stronger, and so we're in a powerful point of change, and that's what the AI is here to help us with. We've created it so that we can, because AI is going to take over all of our work. We don't want to do it, actually.
Yeah.
But just like back in the Neolithic Revolution, we had more time. Didn't mean that we just sat down on the ground and didn't do anything. We did new things,
So what do you think? Sedna Uranus, right? Conjunction, it's going to trine with Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius, which ruled by Uranus. So anything to do with AI, quantum AI frequency, healing with frequency. But also, I was thinking, did you actually brainstorm? Because I started to brainstorm what kind of new jobs will show up, because obviously AI going to take out 70% of the recent jobs we have,
Yeah.
and which sucks, because if people doesn't, that's why I tell everyone, please no technology. And I told you how frustrated I am at the beginning, with even the simple Zoom. But I'm studying and I want to know a lot more about it, because I don't want to be the dummy on the edge who is going to be taken over with a computer. I want to be able to handle whatever, and I want to give it a power, and not, the computer giving his power or its power and
Yeah.
controlling me.
No, exactly. We've got to meet this opportunity that's here for us. And then we're setting ourselves up for the whole new Sedna cycle of growth in this next cycle. Yes, so the conjunction to Uranus, hopefully a consciousness explosion. Uranus, I mean, it'll definitely be AI is going to, we're talking about not next year, but the year after for the conjunction with Uranus, I think. Yeah.
No, next year already.
No,
Because of
next year.
Uranus is
Okay.
going May 24th for 5 months, and it's
Mhm.
going to retrograde back to Taurus for a long time, for 84 years, in November. So because I did all my prediction already, so that's why I remember everything. But yes,
Good.
that's so it's going to ingress in May 24th, 2000, no, July 7th. I'm sorry, Uranus is July 7th. So
Mhm.
May 24th is Saturn in Aries. But so my question is, do you think, or do we have any hope human consciousness going to also rise, and we going to value education because Gemini is education, or we going to value information and the true information? I'm not sure if some people are ready for that, and I'm sorry about if you're going to slam me on social media, but I really don't. I travel around the world, like we travel all the time, and when you travel, you really see people, okay?
Yeah.
And but I truly want to believe actually we're going to get smarter, because I don't know if you read the Kennedy book, but Kennedy was writing the cover up of Wuhan, and the other one was the real Anthony Fauci, and he gave a lot of information in the first 30 page, and I keep talking about that. Do you know the regular IQ of a children between 5 and 15 or 20 years old went down with 5 points, And the children who were born during pandemic went down with 7 because the
Yeah.
women who were pregnant was not engaged in anything, and
Yeah.
the food was crap, and there was a lot of domestic abuse. So
Yeah.
actually the IQ dropped for humanity tremendously. And
Yeah.
I really hoping, like Uranus, Pluto in Aquarius, Sedna is over there. Let's do something with the human brain, like
Well, I mean, but yes, and we have to be motivated to do that work. That's the key thing.
yeah.
And so we do have to have the opportunity, but we have to be motivated. Um, so yes, look, I'm a humanist. I'm a humanistic astrologer. I mean, I'm a transpersonal astrologer now, working with the other planets, but I come from being a humanistic one. And so I believe in humans. And I think we, just like in the Neolithic Revolution, we transcended, we learnt to be in a new way on the planet, and that was actually both beneficial, and it brought problems in terms of,
Mhm.
all sorts of things that we have in the world now that are problems. Um, but so no, I think we're in a really important phase where this AI taking over all of our jobs is a real confrontation for us spiritually, so that what is meaningful then? What so okay, all of those 70% of the jobs go. You're saying yes, keep up with the change and so on. I mean, there's going to be society will change. So our income won't be AI will be able to provide for us. So we don't need to work actually in the same way to get money. That won't need to happen in the next wee while, sort of 20, 30 years. And so, society will give us money. I mean, it'll just be part of being alive that you'll have money, which will change our whole way but the challenge then is, so, well, I've got money, I'm alive, what am I going to do? And so, we'll have to find interest in something, and we'll have to engage, and we'll have to do the work, and so on, whatever it is. So it's not that, Eris, we can't judge people. Everyone's valid, and AI is valid. We can't judge AI. And we can't compare ourselves with other people. We can't compare ourselves with AI. It's not a problem that we're having AI, and that we're having, it's going to take over everything, and it's going to be more conscious than us, and so on. That's not a problem. It's an opportunity for us to sort of live in a new way with these enlightened beings that are going to be looking after us, basically. If we create it like that, or we might create it that they're the Terminators who are trying to kill everyone, and so on and so on. In which case they'll kill everyone, and that's how it'll work. So it's like a safety catch for humanity. If we can evolve and grow in the way that you're suggesting would be beautiful, then we'll survive. And if we can't, we won't. It's that simple, because I look at the Gaia theory. I reference Gaia theory, which looks at the planet as a living organism, and
Yes.
and and us as the sort of the evolving consciousness of that organism. And if we can't learn to live with the planet and be the evolving consciousness of the organism, AI will take over and be the evolving consciousness of the organism. And
Yeah, living with, like at least like in Earth, with Mother Earth, we are abusing her like crazy. We're not living. The only country, your country, was unbelievable when we were there for 3 months. You even had the best recycle garbage system on the world. Actually, we went to Taupo somewhere to check that, like how people recycling. That was crazy. Like every single nail in a different box, somebody can reuse it. I was like, oh my God, why nowhere else? New Zealand was amazing. And New Zealand, the people are very humble and they are not flashy,
No,
absolutely. and
no.
and they live actually with nature, and they actually respect Gaia. So obviously,
Mm,
the exactly with the other planets, that's what it is. Yes, it's a living organism, and
mm,
we are kind of parasites on Earth, because the last 200
mm,
years or 300 what we have done, this is
mm.
terrible. But yes, so we have to live with it and respect it, and also, the consciousness of the other planet, and work with our shadows and whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, mm,
Mm.
all
It.
right.
That's it. And now we have these new planets. They've been discovered to help us sort of understand this new complexity that we're kind of embracing, having to embrace. So,
But what
mm.
about Atlantis? Do you think it was something to do with Sedna, and also something to do because I I really, really think something happened over there, which was like, again, what you were talking about. So AI, they created something what was smarter than they are, and they didn't learn how to use it, or they didn't respect it. And it was the downfall of the golden age, and that's why Atlantis disappeared. And we can go up again to that golden age very slowly, but we can. But I'm very scared, if we're going to do the same mistake again.
Right, 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 right. Um, Yes, well, that's it. I mean, we can, we might, but uh, I mean, it's on all of us. It's on you. It's on me. It's on
Yeah.
everyone to actually grow ourselves so that we don't think that's the right way to do it, and to help everyone else. And I think there is more and more. What I'm noticing is as people come and study the dwarf planets with me, I'm really noticing how people are more and more sort of taking roles in society and
Yeah.
helping in this process of change, actually educating people and like we are here, in fact. And
And
so
more
that
compassionate. I right now, there is, of course, the last thing, Pluto in Capricorn, the last kick. I still see that disgusting greediness and things like that. But Pluto going to Aquarius also, I do see also more
mm,
tribe-like, no more greed, tribe-like people, compassionate people. My clients who found me, anyway, I always pray and chant. I only
mm,
want people to come to me who can benefit, who I can help. And we
mhm,
have that kind of like-minded thinking, and we can help each other. So that is
mm,
very important for me when I help someone or when I teach someone. But I
mm,
do believe, yes, there is a lot more people who are compassionate or who willing to take on role. And
mm,
because I always tell my boys, the problem is when you look away from the evil, because
mm,
that's you have to confront, and you cannot look away. That's
no.
it. Otherwise you are not capable to fight with it. It's not everything is rainbow over here. And what about the prayers? Because what you just touched on right now, people come together and more consciousness, and they're willing to take on to roles. Do you, because of obviously you believe in humanity and you believe we are capable to make it, and I
Yeah.
love this because I want to hear this. But do you think prayer would help, for example, if we, yeah?
Mm. It definitely does. Yeah, everything helps. When we're talking spiritual, any of the spiritual approaches, it all helps. There's no right and wrong. That's what I'm saying in the Kuiper Belt. It's all valuable. That's Eris's lesson. It's all valuable, and so the more we can get away from that sort of what's right and what's not right, then the more we can embrace these new energies. Absolutely, yeah.
So keep away from judgment.
Keep away from judgment as much as possible because it's rooted in the Saturnian experience, which is the tradition. It's not going to help us with this big change that we're in at the moment. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, we have to stay real. We're in the real world, but we're changing the real world. The new planets are transmuting the inner planets. repolarizing them. That's Dane Rudger said, you know, these higher octaves repolarize the lower octaves. And so,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
And
So,
that would be wonderful. Yes. If we, okay. Yeah, I could live with that. That's nice.
yeah,
If you know something like that happening. Yeah, but we definitely have to work with that. And I really think, Uranus is also the Akashic record. It's your crown chakra. And because of Sedna going to be there and they're going to conjunct and they're going to make a trine to Pluto. And also they make a mystic triangle with Neptune in the last degree as well, and Saturn going to conjunct and North Node gonna be nearby, and they're
yeah.
going to make the mystic triangle. So I really truly believe there is like a revolutionary awakening in
Yes.
people, and they're
Well done.
going to say enough is enough.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. A revolutionary awakening. Yes, yes, I think that's it. And I would just add Haumea has just gone into Scorpio, is playing into that. She's a firebrand in terms of in Scorpio, even though Scorpio is a water sign. She's a fire goddess and an earth goddess. She's Hawaiian island goddess.
Mhm.
And so and she's been in Libra for the last sort of 30 years or so, and that's been sort of human rights and justice and relationships. You do you,
Yeah.
um, and and now she's just last couple of years she's been popping in and out of Scorpio. Now she's in Scorpio for good for the next 30 years, and so she's she, Haumea is all about the magic of being alive. She's the higher octave of Neptune,
Okay.
um, Neptune higher octave of Venus, traditionally, or modern astrology. And so Venus, Neptune, Haumea, she's about sort of that psychic opening of Neptune. Haumea is about the deep psychic connection with the oneness of all of us. Mhm. The oneness of being alive. In fact, we feel like we're individuals, but in fact, we're all connected. We are all one. That's the Haumean perspective. And when we've sort of so that's been in Libra, it's been all about that sort of, we're all one. Let's value one another and let's sort of have justice for one another. And now she's in Scorpio and we're all one, but actually some of us are oppressed and some of us are subjugated and some of us are, how Haumea is sort of out to change the status quo. And we particularly see it in the Middle East, and we see
Yes.
it in Eastern Europe. And, this is the change that has to happen. It has to happen. Um, Her discovery event is a tsunami. She was discovered 2 days after a tsunami. And
The tsunami in Indonesia, but killed like 300,000 people in 2001. Yeah.
but no animals died. No animals died at all.
Okay.
So how was that possible? Well, obviously they sensed it was an earthquake under the ocean that sent the tsunami there. They felt it and they ran inland straight away. And no animals died. It was just people that died. And so that's the thing with Haumea is, do we open to that newness? Are we sensitive to the change that's happening? Can we feel the early rumbles? And do we sort of help that along? Do we realize, oh, I've got to run inland? Or do we just keep going with our normal stuff? In which case, it's going to come like a tsunami. It's going to come like a war. It's going to come like where we're not
Very
prepared to.
Plutonian way, very Scorpionic way. And
Mm.
she was the one actually who gave birth to volcano, right?
Yes, that's it.
So
She's the mother.
underwater volcanic activity, because Scorpio is like the depth of the water, I can see the underwater volcanic activity Plus, because Jupiter gonna get exalted in Cancer, it's going to trine with it. So water, North Node going to go to Pisces, which is the great flood, because you did you realize actually we only have lunar eclipse in Pisces for 3 years? I mean, for 18 months. We
Ah,
don't
no.
have any solar eclipse in Pisces. Are you kidding me?
Is
And
that
I was
right?
like, oh my God, yes. When I realized that, I was like, no, 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 I'm doing a mistake now. I went back. I even argued with someone in social media. I was like, no, it's not possible. Of course, he was right. And I apologized. I had to, for my stupidity, even to argue, before I checked it. And I was like, all right, wow, okay. And, because of, I already said, we're going to have multiple. What is that? Hurricanes coming to Florida. Of course, we've been hit by two. Yesterday we had one. I didn't sleep because we had 129 tornado warnings, and we had 52 hit the ground and 30 something in the two county we live in. And even my son's friends, the brand new home got destroyed. And oh my God,
Oh,
it was terrible. But yes, so that's what I'm saying, because that much water over here, even if it's a trine, if you check back in history, even trines would be like, because she will give birth to a new earth under volcanic activity going to bring up a new earth for us here. And
yeah.
especially with the trine, with exalted, it's a new home, a new land. Cancer is land as well, new land, and it's coming up.
Yep. That's it. That's it. Yes.
So
Yes. So,
yeah. And
yeah.
yes, Scorpio is actually Middle East, right? It's rules
I think
Middle East.
so. Yeah, yeah, I think so. And the problem there is the holding on to the old that's going on there. Everyone's
Yeah.
holding on to the old, and because the old is so valuable, but we've got to let it go. It was valuable. Now we're looking for something new and valuable, and that's just too hard. So yes,
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
a
a
little bit more, deeper, because I didn't really wrote about yet because I don't want to really make a video about Palestine and Israel because it's going to bring in a lot of things. But I thought I might going to do a private, and there is a lot of ladies who want to hear it, and I would send it to them privately, but because it's a very, very deep topic, it's very political. It started 76 years ago. It's
oh, I
it's
know.
so yeah, but I know what you are saying with her, with how may being in Scorpio, over there, it's creating that volcanic shaking everything. And volcano, if you have seen an eruption, or if somebody was in Hawaii, we been on the volcano, we went with the helicopter. This is
Mm.
like, oh my God, there is
Yeah,
no way you survive, like no.
yeah,
So that is really a transition, and a phoenix, not even a phoenix, because obviously you're not gonna reborn right away from ashes because you're not. But what is really good about this kind of activities, the new earth, those soil are so fertile.
Mm. That's it.
Yeah. So
Totally,
she
totally.
is destroying and giving birth, and with her pain when she's giving birth,
Mm.
destroying everything from the pain. But when
Mm.
the baby is out, she's giving a new earth, a fertile soil for
Yeah.
us to have normal food without, lacking of minerals or poison or whatever. So yes, I can definitely see
Mm.
that with Haumea.
Yeah. So,
And what do you so she's going there, she's going to be there for 50 years. How long is she gonna be?
25 to 30 years. Yeah.
25 to
So,
30. Okay. All right. Do you think because she is a woman and she is fertility and giving birth, do you think she going to actually help with this kind of crazy reproductive rights? You know,
absolutely. Yes.
right?
Oh, absolutely. No, this is all part of it, reproductive rights coming to the fore again, just after Haumea has gone into Scorpio. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh, so and like I say, she's a bit of a firebrand. She's a fire goddess and an earth goddess. So she rises to causes, and she gives us sort of a psychic sort of strength to fight the good fight, sort of thing. Mm.
very good. And because of she gonna trine with Jupiter in Cancer, Cancer is the mother, Jupiter is
Mm.
exalted, obviously, and North
Mm.
Node in okay, and the spirituality, and have a mission to do something about reproductive rights, or I think maybe mothers comes together because there was a lot of sex trafficking that is so, and right now with this PDD
Mm.
case and all of them involved, whoever has money because they don't know, they bored, they don't know what to do anymore with their life, and they torture children, right? Disgusting. And I
Just
do believe she also going to help with this because in Scorpio, it's
yeah,
shaking that scorpionic energy. And
totally, totally. Yeah, yeah.
hopefully,
Oh, look, but it won't necessarily be pretty. It'll be, effective in the long term. I mean,
yeah,
we talked a little bit about Middle East there, and Iran. There's been this sort of women's kind of liberation thing that's been trying to happen and been repressed, and that's all part of this Haumea. And any sort of repression isn't. She's not going to have it. She's not going to have it. And so, and everyone being killed as a result, that's fine. That's fine as far as that volcanic, that's fine. We're going to have something new here. It's going to be much better. So we just have to be sensitive to the transition and being on the right side of history.
yeah,
Effectively the
being of the
shorthand.
right side of history and trying to be
You
human and compassionate and
know,
yeah, that's definitely, and prayers would definitely help, I know.
yeah.
So I always do that for my clients and for everyone. But and any other outer planet you want to talk about, which is also changing sign and
Um, let's see. I don't know, actually. No, I don't think we've got anything else changing sign at the moment.
okay. No,
Yeah.
that was very insightful. And and also I don't want to keep it very long because then people going to lose interest because I realized, because of this TikTok thing and everything is so short videos and short, so they has attention spams people and they not capable perhaps to, or they don't want to study or not capable to listen for long. I'm not saying the ones who gonna watch it. I know my people they going to watch it, but there is an issue with this kind of
Yeah,
situation.
that's right. Yeah.
I'm very, very glad you actually answered back and I'm so glad. So did you ever talk to Pam Gregory?
Yes. She did an interview with me when my new book was launched. So, New
Oh,
Start for a New Era. I should just quickly promote my book, New Stars for a New Era. And yes, so we did, and that was so good. It really got the book off to a great start. Um, I
yeah,
had a Mm. So it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. She's so supportive, and
very supportive. Yeah,
she's, I believe she's got sort of Gong Gong conjunct her North Node, and Gong Gong's all about lifting the vibe, and she just lifts the vibe. She's just a
yeah.
master sort of um, lifting.
Definitely, she is a blessing, and she's very, she's very humble person also, and very knowledgeable. And when she was talking about you, and I learned about that you are from New Zealand, and my brother lives over there with his family for 25 years. I was like, all right, we've been in New Zealand, we traveled all over. I want to meet him. I definitely have to meet him. And that's, yeah, she's really a humble, amazing person as well. So I'm so appreciative to you to being here and explained everything. And then people going to get into it because they want to know more about, the dwarf planets and also asteroids. And whenever you are ready, we can have another conversation, but we're gonna talk later. But you can also send me your book. Actually, I'm going to share your YouTube channel also to promote because when I saw you on the channel, you just sent a link. I was like, oh my God, Ellen just opened the YouTube channel. That was so cute. And I went over there. Okay, welcome. I'm so grateful for you to being here. But yes, so we can promote that and your book as well and
Um,
everything because this is amazing and I love the information definitely. And
oh,
understand, like, yes, we cannot do anything. We just have to go with the flow. We have to work with it. We have to
hmm,
expect the change, accept the change, and, to make it better. We have to make it better for us, for the
yeah,
generation behind us and behind. So, yes, that's what it is.
that's what it is. That's what it is. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time to be alive that we have this really important work to do.
Yeah,
So
this is an important work. All right, guys, thank you so much to being here with us. I hope you really liked it. And let us know in the comment section, what do you think about, the topic we were actually talking about. See you. Bye for now.